Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Well, I was planning to dedicate some minutes to the negotiating text that just came out of Geneva, because and then to go on what is the reaction from civil society, social movements around the world. You are all engaged in the climate issues, so I don't need to spend time explaining the details. But if you don't understand something that I say, please ask me, interrupt me. No problem at all. Well, in Paris, there's going to be in December COP21 that is supposed to agree on a new agreement that will replace the Kyoto Protocol. This agreement is going to be an agreement for 2020 and beyond. We don't know if it's going to be 2025 or 2030 or 2050. That is something that's being negotiated. And for sure, that a new agreement can even in some way modify the current UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. That is something that is already on the table. Now, what has happened in Geneva just 1 week ago is that finally all the parties, 193 parties, came together and they said what they want for this agreement. So now we have a text that has 1,273 brackets, but that has all the proposals from all the parties. So whatever is going to come out has to be already on the text. The good thing is there is no agreement on nothing yet, but all the proposals are on the table. So what we have to ask ourselves is, how good are the good proposals that are in this text? Because what is not in this text will not appear the last minute of the negotiation in Paris. So this negotiating text, that is very difficult to read, 86 pages, has from the worst to the best positions. Now, I will not go into detail of everything, just to highlight some key issues. The text has not a clear target for 2020, 2025, and 2030. So there is no proposal to say we're going to limit global greenhouse gas emissions by this amount by 2020, 2030. That doesn't exist. And from a scientific point of view, we should all agree that global emissions should be around 44 gigatons of CO2 equivalent by 2020 if we want to stay below the 2 degrees Celsius, or by 40 by 2025 and 35 by 2030. But nobody, it's something that for me is surprising. In a negotiating text, nobody has said, this is the number. And the number, everybody knows, the UNEP, IPCC, everybody has put on the table the numbers, but nobody has dared to say, this should be the target according to science. So the targets in that text are targets mainly for 2015 and 2100. So net zero emissions by 2100, so by the end of the century, or the most radical are speaking about something like that for 2050. But nobody wants to say what is the target for 2020, 25, and 2030. And that is the key. The second thing that is clear in this text is that the battle inside the negotiation is not going to be around climate. It's going to be around flexibilities for developing countries, or what we call common but differentiated responsibilities. that we all agree that who have polluted more should have deeper emission cuts, and who have polluted less should have less emission cuts, and even should have the possibility to have emissions because they have contributed less. But this is, in reality, again, the key issue of the negotiation. And you can see it because of the proposals that are on the table. One of the most radical proposals says developing countries should have targets that are absolute, without any carbon market, without any kind of offsets. But developing countries should be able to have all the flexibilities, carbon market, RED, offsets, and so on. So this is the two-way approach. So we're going to see how this ends. But this is one of the key issues in the negotiation. When it comes to carbon markets, there is no position on the table to say, hey, we have to stop with carbon markets because they have not worked. All of them agree that carbon markets should continue. Who should use those carbon markets and who should be able to have offsets from them, that's under discussion. But the fact of carbon markets, of more RED projects, is not known. My reading from the text is that the Paris Agreement is not going to be a substantive text when it comes to carbon markets. It will be a text that will open the door for carbon markets, but that this issue will be negotiated in the next COP that's going to be probably in Marrakesh. And that will be the COP that will focus on the carbon markets, but here we will have in the agreement just an open door to some of them. So there is not a big development on the carbon markets in the text, but it's clear that the new carbon markets are being put there in order to be developed in a negotiation that will continue next year. One of the issues that is on the table is the issue of finance. And here you have from positions that say we should not have any number on finance, which means how much developing countries are going to provide to developing countries per year, and others that say you should provide 100 billion per year that we already agreed in Copenhagen and that are not happening, and others that are saying we should even go further to $200 billion per year. The reality is that in this issue, developed countries are not willing to make clear commitments of funding for developing countries from public funds. They want to agree on any number that says we will help to mobilize funds for developing countries from different sectors, private sector, carbon markets, whatever, but not we are going to commit ourselves to put this amount of money for the coming years. So to make it short, what we have on the table is an agreement with no clear target for the coming decade, more flexible mechanisms that are going to be further developed, and almost no increase in the finance from the developed countries. And now this is very clear. It is not something that we believe, it is already there on the text. So how to react in front of the situation? In Paris last year, before we even had the possibility to have the text, many groups came together from all over the world, and we discussed what to do. And one of the issues was we cannot repeat the mistake of Copenhagen. In Copenhagen, we did a mistake. We thought that we were going to put a lot of pressure, and with a lot of pressure, we were going to have a good agreement in Copenhagen. And we created a lot of expectations, and it didn't happen. And now, I would say almost all the group agree that something even worse can happen in Paris, in terms that the agreement will not be strong. Even groups, environmental groups that are very involved in negotiations and are very conservative say, yes, the situation is very bad. So one of the key agreements is, yes, we have to use the opportunity of Paris, because now all the media and everything will move in the process toward Paris. We're going to have a momentum like the one we had in Copenhagen. But if we focus only on Paris, we're going to lead the climate activists to a new frustration. So we have to think in a different way for this new moment. How we're going to mobilize, or how we're going to mobilize, not with the aim to put pressure on the UNFCCC as the main goal, but that's how we build stronger movements in the different countries. We will put energy to have a very strong mobilization in Paris, but that cannot be the center. There has to be mobilizations in different parts of the world. And not only during COP21, but also in previous months. And that is why there was a meeting in Lima, Peru, just parallel to the COP20, and all the different organizations that were there agreed we're going to have different momentums of mobilization before Paris and after Paris. And we have to be sure that what we do in our grassroots level is the key. Second, does that mean that we have to totally renounce to use or to put pressure? I would say no. We have to use some opportunities that are open because of the process of negotiation. One of them that is interesting is what it's called the INDCS. What is this? For the first time, all countries will have to present their pledges or contributions for emission cuts. This means India too, this means China, Bolivia, Thailand, and so on. And they have to present what are their contributions for emissions cuts going to be for the period of 2025, 2030. And it's supposed that this process will be a process that will have to engage the participation of civil society groups. So, in the Philippines, in Thailand, or in the case of my country, they are already discussing how we are going to make it clear how we are going to use this opportunity. Because it's not possible that the government is going to present a contribution that is something very general without clear commitments that have to do with concrete projects that are creating greenhouse gas emissions like coal mines, like deforestation, and other activities. To put an example, in the case of Bolivia, you know that Bolivia has probably 6 or 7 times more emissions per capita than India. Our emissions per capita are one of the highest. And you know why? Because there is a deforestation that is terrible. We deforest 300,000 hectares per year. So we think that a country like Bolivia, developing country, probably as poor as India or more no competition on that, can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by more than 50, 60, 70%. Because burning forest is something terrible, and we can't stop it. So how do we bring the discussion from Paris and all these numbers here that nobody understands to the ground? That is, how in concrete terms can we impact and reduce greenhouse gas emissions here, in this country, in this region? And how these pledges or contributions from the government have to be consistent with that. So that is one way to change the way we used to work in relation to the UNFCCC. And there are other ways also to link to build a new movement. Because probably one of our mistakes of climate activists is that we know we're right, but we want to convince others to join the climate movement. Trade unions, peasants, indigenous people, and so on. But maybe the mistake is that we try to convince them to come to a movement that's very abstract. Well, we have to bring the climate agenda to their own struggles and to their own movement. And this is the challenge. How to bring the climate agenda to the concrete issues that workers, peasants, indigenous peoples are already facing. And this is another thing that is being discussed. Because if we keep doing what we did until now, we cannot expect a different result, and the result has been very bad. So in this Paris meeting, it was agreed that, yes, if we want a different result, we have to begin to think out of the box. We cannot repeat the same recipes that we have been implementing until now, because they have not worked. So that's my small contribution.
Without any further ado, we'll